Hello and welcome to the last episode of this year of our event called Let's Ask Expert, where every month we are discussing with various different experts from all over the world, various different soft skills based on your choosing, that at the end of every episode, you as the audience have the opportunity to select what will be the topic for the next episode. And we try to find the best experts to cover a particular topic. This event is brought to you by the soft skills team of the Global BA community. And I am super happy to say that at the end of the episode 7, when we asked the audience to select what topic they would like to have covered in the episode 8, most of you have chosen to cover the topic of empathy, which is actually a very nice topic to cover during the approaching holiday season, as this is the time to cherish one another, have some time amongst our close ones, and exactly enjoy this amazing quiet period with your family. So that's why I'm super happy to say that we have great experts, and I would like them to introduce themselves, starting with the first expert we have, Alena Babenka, our Senior Director of EPAM. So Alena, welcome to the show, welcome to the event. Could you please tell us a couple of words about yourself to those who might not yet know you? Although I think there's a very few people at EPAM who don't know who you are.
Hi, everyone. I hope that if you know me from the better side. So my name is Alena Babenka. I've been living in Poland for like almost 10 years, although I'm ethnical Belarusian. So currently, I changed several times my roles in the company because my employment here is more than 17 years already. So I started in the media and communication team in Belarus many years ago, and then I joined Poland and was leading people advisory team. And then later I joined EPAM Anywhere, the huge pool of remote workers all around the world. So it's about 19, 20 countries currently now. And I'm working with the Turkish location as a regional people head. So there is some more information here on the slide about me. Yeah, I'm a lifetime learner. I make short breaks, but then come to learning again and again and again. It doesn't matter, it can be long program or short courses. It all depends on my mood and time. And as you see, my hobbies are usually connected with the calm and relaxing because the work of an HR is quite an intensive thing. So I like knitting, watching TV series, local history, hiking. That's probably all.
But fun fact about Alana also is the fact that, if I remember correctly, you don't like spoilers. So you prefer to have everything uh, displayed at once. So sorry, you don't have plot twists. That you prefer to have everything displayed at the very beginning of the
Yes.
TV series. So
Yes, I'm reading the books and watch this TV series like in bulk amount. So usually I wait the whole season to be published somewhere in Netflix, and then I watch the first and the last episode, know the end of the story, and then I watch the rest with completely different emotions. Yes, I am part of the spoiler community, so other people don't like us, but believe me, we enjoy communication to each other.
nice, nice. Super happy to have you in today's session. We also have our second expert, Marta Doroszuk. So Marta, welcome to the session.
Thank you.
Can you
Hello,
introduce
hello.
yourself? Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm Marta Doroszuk. I really like hiking as well. So maybe let's start from hobbies, from my interests. Generally, I'm a soft skills and leadership trainer, facilitator. I'm a psychologist. I have worked with clients providing psychological consultations. I have worked with patients as well from hospice providing psychological support. And I think that's it about me for now.
And also, I'm super happy to have you here in our today's session because, especially your psychological background, especially with the PhD in that area, would be very helpful when discussing the topic of empathy. But last but not least, we also have our last expert. So, Marina, who is our senior director and head of the BA competency from the VS region. So, Marina, welcome as well. Could you please share a couple of points about yourself?
Hi, Jan. Good day, good evening, dear audience, and thank you for inviting me to this very nice event. And when Jan first came to me asking whether he would like to talk about empathy, I said, like, yes, absolutely yes, because having proper empathy is one thing, but missing proper empathy in our profession This is a big problem. So a few words about myself. I've been here with IFAM already for 17 years, and it was quite a journey. I changed several professions. So from technical writer to business analyst to project manager, resource manager, delivery manager. I was managing VAs, I was managing .NET, I was growing mobile pool, I was managing 5 cities local offices in Belarus. And to the question when I'm asked, like, Marina, could you please introduce yourself? Saying in short, I love saying that I'm a business analyst, and 17 years past, I'm still fond of this profession, and it still is my passion. About hobbies, I love reading because after the very long day, nothing is better than just dive deep into the book, and the book must be paper book, absolutely, so that you can smell it, you can list it. This is a separate pleasure. And yeah, traveling is something which helps me switching from the work reality to real life reality.
Nice. And I think, once a business analyst, always a business analyst, because it's not only a profession, it's a lifestyle, I would say.
Fully agree, Jan.
So those are the experts, and I encourage each and every one of our participants today to share your questions as well. If you have enough time, we will cover them in our today's meetup. So without further ado, let us begin having the conversation. And actually, let me start with the first question that I have for you, because, well, we work in this IT environment, right? Highly competitive, highly technical, and we have here this subtitle of our event today called "When the Tech meets the Humanity," right, and the humanity aspect of it. So I would like to ask you, in your day-to-day work, how do you actually combine the two, of combining the empathy with this highly competitive technical environment in which we work? So maybe Marta, let's start with you, because as you have the psychological background, you might be able to share a bit of theory with us and with our audience.
Yeah, I'm happy to start because generally I love my work, and as you know, I deliver workshops on daily basis. Today I had a facilitation session, and I'm really happy about this. And I can understand that for many of us here, we have a lot of obligations, we have a lot of stress, we have a lot of work activities, and sometimes it is difficult to take part actively in my sessions, which is totally okay. And I think here empathy is really important. So what I try to do, and generally how I define empathy, is to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I think this is really easy to understand. So I try to understand point of view of my participants. I try to understand that, okay, maybe they wanted to join the session, my session, but at the same time they have a lot of duties. So sometimes they maybe have to go somewhere and do something.
Mm-hmm.
So
so
really
like understanding of this.
Yeah, understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Really important part.
Alona, you were the first person who was actually the first HR business partner in Poland, if I remember correctly, and you were also the head of the HR business partners, which I identified are the scrum masters of the company life and kind of like help to resolve any kind of impediments in the company's life. So how empathy did help in your profession, in your career as a head of people?
I would say my work is connected with people. So when you asked the first question, which Marta was answering, so how to combine them, I was thinking, is there a way to separate them in my reality in HR work? So it's the same natural component like technical equipment. So it's kind of, I cannot even separate. I work with people, many decisions, doesn't matter if they are good and you propose new benefits or programs or whatever, are based on the understanding of the people psychology, feelings, perspectives of employee. If you need to make hard decisions, and HR work is connected with that, so it's not a secret. Sometimes decisions are not pleasant, not only by HRs, but also by managers. It's also based on the understanding of the empathy, trying to think from the perspective of the employee. So that's how it works on my side.
Mm-hmm. And Marina, how does it work on your end? Because managing so many countries, so many people with different aspects of culture and different expectations from people around. How do you cope with that?
It develops me a lot. And when I was primarily focused on Belarus, it was one story. Right now I have 10 different countries and a lot of friend countries, which we are closely interacting with. And it is one of the best experience which I've ever had. But talking to empathy, again, I already mentioned that I'm a business analyst. Any technology and any solution starts from human. If you are not able to listen carefully, the human who may not understand what they want and what they need themselves, all of us don't understand in the vast majority of cases what we need, even if we are absolutely sure that we know this. So you need to be careful with listening, careful with asking, then listening again and helping your client, your customer, navigating them to the solution which they really will benefit from. And the same with our people. We in this industry, we work under very high pressure. Technologies evolve all the time. Our clients become more and more demanding because we educate.
Or they change their mind very often, rapidly.
And like always. And if we don't listen to our employees, if we don't care about them, if we don't take into account their level of stress, their load, we won't be able to create these solutions at the end. So any technology starts from human. Without empathy, you're not able to interact properly with this human.
Mm-hmm. You touched a very interesting thing because you've mentioned that empathy develops you. But probably a question which I have for all of you is, in that case, let's turn it around and how we can develop empathy in ourselves. So, Marina, what would be your techniques and your ways to actually, where to start, where to improve, how to know that you are on the right path to improve the empathy skill?
Stop talking, start listening.
Simple as that.
Yes.
Well,
everything begins from desire to listen. And when you start listening, then absolutely 100% support what Marta just mentioned. Try wearing these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
When you start listening, don't think, oh yeah, he's an idiot. He absolutely doesn't understand the topic. That's the wrong way. Try to understand what stands behind. Listen and try to put your efforts understanding what stands behind. People always have some reasons for behavior, for their requirements, for their desires. If you don't understand the reason and what stands behind, you won't be able to effectively build further communication.
Mm-hmm.
But listening is the first.
I think there is this nice sentence that there is a reason why God gave us 2 ears and just one mouth, so that we could practice listening more than just speaking. Alana, what about
Totally
yourself?
agree.
How do you develop your empathy skills in your profession or in your life?
With quite practical exercises, I was thinking about this technology of active listening. By the way, anyone, if you will Google that in internet, you will find even kind of the examples of the questions. So meaning that like the pauses when you listen much longer than when you speak, and sometimes you continue listening by asking questions which will direct the dialogue to the next stage, but you will stay around the same topic. So it's a kind of the very famous practical and old technique which is described in internet. And I would say the second thing which came to me with my experience is like when I try to imagine myself in other employees' shoes or try to understand the situation. Let's say I do not make hard decisions in the like very critical level of the emotions. Doesn't matter it's positive or negative. If it's negative, it's emotions and people need to calm down to come to the proper dialogue. If it's positive, vice versa, you know, this extreme happiness puts the filters in front of your eyes, and then like everything is a kind of exaggerated with, you know, these pink glasses. And then again, when everything is calmed down, the reality can be a little bit different and the person will be disappointed. So something from the, you know, science, like making some practical exercises, and something from the experience. So if there is kind of this very emotional stuff, neither positive, not negative, so we are not making hard any decisions in such, you know, a scale. So it should be somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Marta, can you share with our audience, you know, what would be your tricks in terms of empathy development?
Really like that you said tricks. I don't think it will be a trick, but generally, as Marina, you said, and Elena, you also mentioned about this partly because observing yourself as well, checking how you behave in many different situations. So topic of self-awareness, I mentioned this topic many times because maybe I have something like this, that I start the conversation with somebody and then suddenly I'm hijacking the conversation. I just want to say something from my side, but I have to learn to give space for another person. I have to learn to listen, to ask questions, so that, you know, also this person could share his or her feelings, thoughts on the situation. So observing ourselves, this is also a really good approach to learn and to improve empathy generally.
And also, I think you know, listening is one thing, but also adapting to the communication style in the room, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that I don't know how it is in our audience's locations, but you know, in Poland, whenever I see the debate between the politicians, it's never about carefully listening and responding with well-structured arguments. It's mostly about overshouting the other person and just, you know, being the loudest person in the room. So potentially not the, you know, communication style we want to foster and we want to apply. But can you share with us and with our audience some examples where actually empathy turned out to be a very useful skill to have, and somehow it, you know, either resolve a conflict, pushed some difficult situation forward, or maybe, I don't know, made some difference in your life or in your career? So maybe, Alana, can you share some experience from your side?
You know, the brightest examples that come to my mind are kind of connected with the situations when a person from people team, people advisor or people partner participated in some escalation or some conflict situation on the project. I would say a good example can be some critical stage of the project, you know, when there are overtimes, pressure from the client, there is some atmosphere, and there are conflicts and escalations, and some external moderator or external person is invited. I would say from the observation of moderating such situation, despite of the standard procedures like one-on-ones, talking with people, proposing some activities, I would say that the teams which possess a bit like higher level of empathy come faster to the common decisions. They start to talk to each other, not blaming each other. Oh, you did this, you did that, so this has happened because of that reason. But they are more like faster connect to each other, come closer to common decisions, discuss problems together. And by the way, when they start implementation, they help each other. Not just we agreed, the boss said you do it, and we watch and just wait for the result. They start to help each other. So the whole process looks like a common effort, and like real intention of employees to come to the positive result, not just because boss told us to do that, but just because we all are involved and we know why and how we are doing that.
So kind of like following IPAM values, act as a team, right? And together strive for excellence, right? Kind of.
Kind of.
And, you know, not go on the witch hunt just to see, you know, whom to blame.
Yeah, so like in such situations, if I just like see it can happen, so I do my best to stop that. At least it's not productive at all. And by the way, like one of the things I'm also practicing in such situations very, very often, I play with the pauses. If I see it's not like productive, I give this space. So I see this the case. So let's take a break. and come back in a day. So playing with the pauses, it's also a useful instrument.
Just to let the emotions cool down.
To emotions cool down, or to live for one day with this information that they heard during the meetings. So sometimes I'm overloaded with the information, but the next day you wake up and say, oh, that was so simple, the result is here. So just sometimes it's simply overload. It's not in emotions, but overloading with the amount of the information.
Give yourself time to analyze that.
Yeah.
Talking about analysis, Marina, can you share any example of useful appliance of empathy skill?
I have anti-pattern, which probably
Anti-pattern. Oh, that's even more.
anti-pattern,
That's more interesting, even.
which taught me a lot on what kind of manager I should become. Here's something. I was involved in a very, very difficult project. Business stories when for half a year you work something like from 12 to 14 hours a day. And it was like 6 months in a row. And when I was like absolutely done, I came to my manager saying that, okay, that's it. I just cannot make it. Help me. And the answer was, oh, so you finally reached your maximum. It was always so interesting to me. You took more and more responsibilities. So what is your maximum? Finally, I know. What is it?
Do we really need to go to that extreme?
Um,
Actually, because I've been there as well, and I remember myself ending up in a hospital for a week because of overexhaustion and overburn and overload. So,
and the logical question in my head was, oh my God, why have I done it to myself? Because someone just was curious about what is the maximum amount of things I can do at a time. And really, these anti-patterns taught me how your words can absolutely ruin your motivation, desire for further development, desire to perform your work with the same quality. And it taught me that it doesn't matter in what state you are. It doesn't matter what is it daytime, nighttime. When people come to you with a request, even if you consider these requests are absolutely stupid, you need to listen to them and listen to them carefully. And this is the behavior style of proper manager. If we follow this pattern, I think this is the company all of us would like to work.
Yeah, but at the same time, we are at the moment, I think, over the last several years under this increased pressure. Like ever since the pandemic happened, we started to be separated from one another, and we started to kind of lack social communications, social connection with one another. We sit separated at home. We, have quote unquote social media, which is anything but social, right? And we kind of reach this disconnection from one another. So what we as leaders or managers can do actually to help build that connection once again and somehow restore that, and not to follow that anti-pattern, but actually kind of prevent the curiosity of seeing where is the limit of people.
Keeping connections to people in our remote or partly remote reality, I think, and this is a separate topic for separate event because this is very important. My recipe in here is that I keep talking to my team regularly. And keep talking, it means that have this regular meeting in your calendar, like always. You may skip it, but you always should have it so that your people know that you care about them. Your team knows that you care about them, and you're always here to listen to them. turn on the video, like drink coffee together during these one-on-ones, casual conversations, whatever. So even online, we can show to each other that we care about each other. I mean, on all the events, Jan, I'm sending virtual hugs to you. Because
True that.
You share the camera, you always make very nice comments, and I just cannot help but sending these virtual hugs to you all the time. And this is something what connects us. Yeah, and the next time when I'll be in Gdansk, I'll give you like the real hacks.
I have witnesses,
know
and this video is
I know
recorded, so
videos recorded, and all the people who are in the call knows this as well. So we will have to make a photo and share it to the audience. That's how it works.
sure. Marta, what about yourself? Do you have any kind of examples where empathy helped in your career or help resolve any kind of situation?
You know, I would like to bring example from a really different world. So from my experience working at hospice, so there I was working with patients with terminal diseases. And many times I heard those comments, oh, it had to be really difficult. How did I manage? And, you know, empathy was the base for this work. Why? Because, you know, it was about situations, incredibly difficult situations. So there are not a lot of possibilities for looking for solutions. And secondly, you know, sometimes I was thinking, oh, we were talking about this during one meeting, so the next week maybe we can follow this topic. But situations were changing so quickly that it was just impossible. So I would say even 100% situations, when I was thinking this way, it was impossible to follow the conversation. And there, I had to really learn it and use empathy. And I would say that this is how we're supposed to use it. So people are coming sometimes to us with really difficult, heavy situations. Maybe we didn't experience something like this. Maybe we don't know what to say. And what we can offer in those situations is empathy, being for another person, being involved in the conversation.
Yeah, I think there's this nice saying, like, I cannot make this thing go away, but at least I can make you a tea. And, you know, we can then have a conversation. Like, I like, Marina, what you mentioned about, you know, finding the time and just to have that meeting scheduled in the calendar for your team members and teammates. Like, one thing I also do with my unit is the fact that I introduce to them something what I like to call open door policy, meaning that, yeah, I have the meeting scheduled in the calendar, but if there will be something happening here and now, don't wait till the meeting. Don't, you know, hesitate. Just reach out to me, because yeah, I might have 20 bugs in production, but if something critical happens in your life here and now at this particular moment and you require assistance here and now, you know, the bugs might wait. I know we have the value focus on the customer, but we also have the value act as a team and kind of really, you know, quote unquote, pick your battles and support different people at different times, right? So I think that's also quite important, quite significant. But talking about the empathy in general, we talked a bit about this, you know, having those conversations, having the active listening, but not always are we capable of resolving the cases that people come to us, right? So what would be your suggestion? What, you know, if, for example, someone would come to me and say, Jan, I have this kind of a problem, I don't know how to solve that. What could be the actions I can take as a leader or as a manager? Maybe, you know, there's someone to whom I can reach out. Maybe there is some things, you know, some greater power bigger than myself. Do you have any kind of suggestions, steps that we can take to help? Maybe Alona, let's start with
Let's
you.
be very practical. I will try to be like very practical and concrete in my answer. First of all, there are a lot of people in our company, including people team with the, let's say, more trained skills in many soft skill areas, including behavior and psychology and everything. So I know that like in technical companies, especially by technical managers, there is a huge accent on the technical skills and technical expertise, and there is like less attention to the other. So let's accept that this is the reality. majority of the managers more developed like technical specialists rather than specialists in human communication. So first of all, we have services in the company to address for help. People partners, we have coaches, we have mentors, so at least there is. Secondly, I would say have a look at those. I'm a big fan of the activities proposed by our learning department. So like group activities to the team, I always promote these services about the emotional intelligence courses, some individual sessions. So if it's a part of something that can be helpful for the employee, why not? Being a promoter of those stuff we have in the company available to all employees, it's also not only your contribution to like work of the other departments, but actually helping. And let's say be sensitive and accurate and empathetic if you will see the sign that this is out of the, let's say, work relations. If it comes to the medical problem purely, so it's not the task of the company and it's not the right of the company to give here some practical advices, but giving the possibility to the employee, to your colleagues, to if it's like you are the manager of that unit, that people have this work-life balance, have the possibility to address specialized medical centers. By the way, this well-being and other services with the psychologists that we have in many countries, similar consulting services by many partnership organizations will be like more correct. So like if you overload your people with the 15 hours work, when they will have the possibility to address at least, this group or individual sessions, at least reloading a little bit, promoting those services which are available. And if the problem will like be outside of the business relation, but rather in a medical area, to leave this for professionals.
Mm-hmm. Also, I have a question because we can reach out to other people, but let's imagine a scenario that I have a problem on a project or with my, I don't know, line manager. And for example, Marina, I come to you and I said, I have a problem with someone. How to like address in that case a case so that it will not be identified as escalation, but just to share like a quote unquote friendly concern, and how to how I can show my request so that it will be met with empathy rather than making the noise and making a storm in a glass of water.
Good question, Jan. I don't like word escalation. I guess we overuse it. Like if you come to me, if any employee come to me, I don't treat it as escalation. I treat it as conversation by default. No matter if I consider that you was able to talk to your project manager about it, like, or to your resource manager, doesn't matter. If you come to me, this is conversation. And in this conversation, in the 99% of the cases, the truth is always in the middle. Like always. In very, very rare cases, they're just absolutely black and absolutely white. If a person comes to you with kind of conflict, request, whatever that Yuan is referring to, your primary goal is to understand where is the truth. And that's it. That's why this is conversation with you, conversation with other parties involved. And yes, it is very time consuming and it is very energy consuming. And it is very difficult to handle all such requests in the proper manner, like because we have lots of plenty things to do also. And it may take time. So my recipe here, don't overpromise. If you cannot help, just be pretty open. Say, I completely understand your problem, challenge, issue, whatever. I cannot help. Whether I don't know how to help, I don't have time to help. I can help you in 3 months, but be honest. Mm-hmm. And the second part, try to find where is the truth. And again, as Alona mentioned previously, without emotions, just try to find out the facts, combine the facts, and help all the parties to see these facts.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it helps, sometimes it not. Sometimes people just want to fight. If people want to fight, it doesn't matter how good, positive, empathic we are, they will fight.
Should
And
we
this is
let them?
something you also, sometimes without accepting this fight, you won't be able to come to an agreement with them. They need to fight first. Sometimes it's happen. You cannot handle all the conflicts in win-to-win manner. That's life, that's reality, but still, listen, be absolutely honest, and try to find the truth, which is in 99% of the time. And yes,
I,
it's time consuming.
I remember some years ago we had one of the delivery managers. He already now left EPAM, but I remember him saying that I will help you or I will die trying. Like probably we shouldn't be going all the way to that extremities with helping people. Like if we can, we can. If we maybe can guide towards a certain direction, we can. But still be reasonable, right? So in that
True.
case, Marta, from your experience, from your point of view, where do you think is the border and the boundary? Like how far we can go, how far we should invest our own energy, our own emotions, because that also might be quite exhausting on us,
Yeah,
right? And quite
exactly.
challenging for us to show the empathy because we might miss our problems and we run away from our problems into some other people's problems. Yeah? And just in that case, our issues will be unresolved and we might lose ourselves in that.
We don't want that. We don't want that. This is also connected with self-awareness because we all need to know where's our line, firstly. And secondly, I would come back to this, Elena, what you said, because maybe we're supposed to give the support which we have at company. So contacting HR people, people who are helping in those kind of situations. But maybe there are some topics that it's already not for you as a leader. Person supposed to already go to psychologists, to psychotherapists, and talk about this. Yeah. So the question is more how I can help here, what I can offer from the company side. Maybe, for example, taking some responsibilities, maybe some days off, depending on the situation. Yeah. But we don't want to take too much responsibility. As you said, we don't want to take this problem and treat it as our problem because probably many people are coming with many different problems. So also connecting to what I said previously, let's give a space. Let's try to understand. So also, Marina, what you said about finding what is going on there. But then we need to know where's the line as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Alana, you've been working as head of EPAM Anywhere. So you've been dealing with people from probably lots of different countries. And, having Belarusian background and 10 years of experience of living in Poland, sometimes the solutions that firstly come to your head might not necessarily be appropriate for the particular culture with which you are working at the moment, right? So how, what would be your suggestions, your advice in terms to adapt the best solution, best approach in those kind of situations where people come to you with their challenges and their problems, if they are from, maybe, for example, you're now head of EPAM Turkey, so maybe, from that region or any other in the world.
You know what? I find the huge source of this knowledge and how to deal with the situation from my team first. This is the first line of the contact.
Mm-hmm.
So being transparent and open with them. So guys, this is normal for me and this is so natural and this is but it can be completely different perceived by you. At the same time, I saw many situations and I first faced them when I was visiting Colombia. So it was vice versa, something that people are doing absolutely naturally, like with my European knowledge of the laws and everything, and Belarusian background and working. So, my God, so many triggers in and asking them, guys, So, like, can you explain me the phenomena or what's going on here? How do you treat situations like that? So kind of, I would say, leading by example. So the first line of the support was team who started to open that and explain and bring in the situation, guys. This is not clear for me. So at the very beginning, I'm not doing that on a wide public, but rather with the team only, guys. I might notice that. Can you explain me the reason behind? Or why is it happening here? Is it okay? So, for example, in some countries, like giving hugs is okay. For some others, touching, it's not okay. Even the corporate gifts, branded gifts, bringing I don't know, some writing stuff or branded gloves or socks. Just imagine, in some countries, everything related with the clothes is not okay. And this is the cultural stuff. And I get it from the team. I bring this example. I try to be on the acceptable level of humor, and I accept that I don't know that as well. It's not only like you don't know something about other culture. I don't know about your culture, and then I have this knowledge. And later, when I let's say, act like a local, when I see the reaction of other people that this kind of the brought some effect, I have some kind of the personal professional pleasure. I see the reaction of the employees, this at the stage, in this, this empathy, this feeling that, oh, that works. So it's like, now we can do it all together, not just like one is sitting, my God, what's happening there? So maybe I'm doing something wrong. Everyone is discussing, and I feel, just, under stress because of the triggers.
Marina, what about yourself? Because you are managing so many countries and so many different, again, well, some of them are Slavic, so that might be, there are some similarities, but also, in the VS region, there are also those ones that might be a bit more challenging. So what would be your trick or recipe for success in terms of applying the cultural aspect of empathy?
I'm just fully supporting everything what Alona just mentioned, because it is the first thing. To understand people, you need to come there. It is hardly possible to understand people without being at their place. And in October, I also visited team in India, and they said, visiting us is one thing, looking at us one thing, but to understand people, you need to eat together with these people, because only after that you'll be able to understand who are they by soul. And this is another thing. So I'm trying to, as Alona said, asking their advice first, because we just cannot know everything. And this is okay. And I'm trying how much it is possible to come to the countries with which I'm working alone. It might not be a business trip. My first trip to Armenia was, we actually just decided together with my husband to explore Yerevan. We went there. We tried to understand the country. I met our local team from the office, and it already gave me quite a background on who are they, what they think, how they treat to that situation. It helps.
Marta, what about yourself? Because you're conducting L&D training sessions to people from all over the world, actually, because there are requests flying in every now and then to, conduct trainings from Colombia, from Hungary, from, Vietnam. How to tackle with empathy in this cross-cultural environment from your point of view?
I would agree with everything what you said already. This is the best answer. But also, in my case, openness, I think this is the most important. So I don't assume a lot, and I think this is really helpful. Also, I loved what Elena, you said about this, asking people, explain me, I would like to learn about this, how does it work? And I have the same, because I see that there are different behaviors, different approaches. And for me, this is really interesting. So I'm more curious, and I want to learn. I want to understand better what are the approaches of other people. So being open and flexibility as well.
And I think also adaptability
Yeah.
might also quite useful. There is this saying, it's better to say 2 words too little than 1 word too many. And so sometimes, again, just carefully listen and then adapt to the culture. But yeah, I think also the courage of not being ashamed to, admit, sorry, I don't know. Could you please explain me? Like something that Alona mentioned. Yeah, that it's just, it might take, like I said, a bit of courage because, if I'm as, I don't know, senior manager, senior director, chief business analyst, some things are already expected of me. But at the same time, there is no person with unlimited experience, unlimited knowledge. So just having that courage to actually admit, well, please help me, please explain me. Like I need some assistance. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is something beautiful because if you say something like this, then I feel, oh, we are both human beings, This is great. Like I feel even better. Yeah. So this is something really helpful.
I remember when I was working, before I joined EPAM, I was working at Thomson Reuters and I was a senior QA in that company. And I was like thinking, when I receive a task, I'm a senior. I need to do it by myself because, things are expected of me. And I did that task, but, for example, it took me 5 days to perform the task. If I would ask someone for assistance, maybe I would do it in 2 days or 3 days. And, doing it several days faster from the business standpoint of view might have a huge, impact and huge significant outcome in the results. Right. So, and in general, the performance of the whole team. So whenever anyone would feel, kind of ashamed to ask for assistance, remember, we are not alone. We have communities. We have, the line managers. We have some competency centers to reach out to one another. Maybe someone else was dealing with a case with which you are struggling at the moment. Maybe there is someone to help, to assist. Right? So just I encourage everyone to not be afraid. But actually, what would be the signs that our leaders or our managers can spot when it comes to lack of empathy, or that there's something is lagging on the project or in the company life in general? Maybe Marina, from your experience, what are your like red flags that you might notice?
During past years, and this is something I started from, during past several years, I noticed a lot that all of us start loving, talking and listening to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the recommendation here is very simple. Start from yourself. Start monitor self-awareness. Marta, thank you. You gave me these words today. When people stop listening each other, so you come to a manager once and you understand that he or she doesn't want to, even doesn't try understanding you. You come twice. Will you come third time? Rather no. The day when we all stop talking to each other, stop sharing our thoughts, concerns, just because we think that our opinion simply won't be heard, that's the day when any community company starts dying. Again, start from yourself.
But I think
Start
here
listening.
quite important aspect in general is to be honest with yourself, meaning that sometimes we perceive ourselves not as we really are, but as a projection of who we would like to be. Yeah, so that's also self-awareness is one thing, but also a bit of critical thinking. And no one knows us better than we know ourselves, right? So at least let's try to be honest with ourselves. And like Marta written exactly, psychological safety, right? Marta, what do you think?
Yes, I hear about psychological safety a lot right here in our conversation, and I think this is a vital part for our collaboration, to use our empathy to be for people, so that also they can perform better and they can achieve their results. Because if we feel good, if we feel that somebody wants to listen to us, as Marina, you said about this example, that somebody is coming, yes, and try to share what is happening, I will feel better in such situation, and then I will achieve more as well. I will be more productive. I will be more motivated as well.
Just feel more also appreciative of the fact that you work in an environment that fosters that kind of behavior, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Quote unquote, let's make EPAM great again, and just make sure that people are happy. Like,
Safe environment for open communication.
I remember when I joined EPAM, 10 years ago, there was this one of the presentations which I saw introducing EPAM said that, our people are our number one asset, right? So if we want to kind of live that message, we should make sure that this is an environment where people are happy to work in, right?
This message was so long ago, you still remember that. But I wanted to jump to the previous question. What are the signs? Again, let me look at this with HR eyes. I never consider one sign to be the reason to put the diagnosis. So it can be bad results of the survey. So what? So survey can be exactly delivered in the some very important and critical stage of the project, or implementation of the policy which affected a lot of people. So it's a combination. When do I think that there is a kind of the lack of empathy? So it's a combination. A lot of escalations, ongoing observation of the surveys, pulse, and other instruments that help us to measure. Then monitoring the exit reasons. So even if they happened without me. So is it the same level of stress, and people say that one and the same, that no one is listening to me, no one cares about me, I feel lonely, and so on. And then within this combination, I can say that, yeah, we have signs of that. So one system is not as it is. It can be or can be not. The combination of that, yes. The worst situation for me in such cases, if I'm coming to such projects or teams or units and see this combination, and I ask people on one-on-ones or small meetings or whatever, guys, so I see that, let me help you, and people say, we are happy, nothing is wrong. This is the worst situation for me, and this is the absolute trigger that everything is wrong there. If there are many instruments that shows that something is kind of not going into the positive scenario, and I do my best to build this open relation and communication with the employees, and when they say that everything is okay, why do you think we have the problem? And then it's for me that then it's an absolute sign something is wrong there. We need to work with leaders, we need to work with teams, we need to grow the empathy, we need to have a look at the work-life balance, to care about the this balanced life of the employees, and so on and so on, and build the whole plan what to do.
One question, because we are coming up to the end of the meeting, so I have one question to all of you, which sometimes I'm being asked as a trainer on various L&D training sessions in the RM school or engineering management essentials. What to do in a situation in which my line manager doesn't follow the EPAM values or doesn't represent the EPAM values? Because our company culture should be represented by those 5 pillars, right? Act with integrity, act as a team, strive for excellence, focus on the customer, and the 5th one is value the individual. Yeah. So what do you think our employees could do in that particular situation when they see that someone who should be representing those values is just going completely against them?
Let me start here. So
I wanted to say, talk to HR.
Let me answer here, because when the employee thinks that someone is not following the value, there was nice phrase, Marina said it today, so maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I always say, my first question in this situation, absolutely 100%, did you talk to that person? Or am I the only one that after 5 months of suffering, Openly, openly, not like collecting rumors, not suffering for months from the behavior that triggers you. Am I the only one whom you addressed for help? Did you try to talk to that person? And then, like in 50% of the scenarios, there will be a hint for the next step, what to give as an advice. And like even answering such questions from the coaching techniques, do you want me to step in and help you? Or like, let's think how you will build this discussion. So if you will address this person yourself, try to tell about your feelings. And then it will be easier to make the next step.
If we have the courage to actually say openly, or if we feel that we work in this, open communication environment.
Yeah. That's we are aiming safety for, and that's we are like trying to teach our managers and leaders. Yeah, being open and being ready to have this communication.
Mm-hmm. I am posting in the chat at the moment the link to the Mentimeter to give our audience the opportunity to vote for the question for the topic that they would like to have us covered in the next session already next year in the 9th episode of the Let's Ask Expert. But as we wait for the responses from our audience, and as we will be seeing those responses coming in, I hope that we'll have some answers flying in soon. I have one last question for all of you. And knowing what you know now, what kind of advice would you give yourself at the start of the career to develop the empathy and to make the most of the usage of that skill in your life? Maybe Alona, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would say that like soft skills are skills. Start to learn them earlier. Experience will come anyway, but I do believe that skills can be learned. You can be born with a skill and then it's a natural talent given by God. But you can learn the skill. You have a lot of instruments around you, whatever you can use to upgrade your own soft skill like empathy, emotional intelligence, communication. Do it early.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. Marta?
Mm-hmm. I would say you don't have to give a solution right here, right now. It's much better to give a space for the person.
Mm-hmm. Marina?
Don't judge fast. You may not see the full picture. You may see only 10%. Try to understand at least 50% of the picture.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. Okay, we have, as I can see, more and more answers are flying in the response. Adaptability seems to be the leader at the moment. 5 answers already. Any last thoughts? Any last comments? Any last remarks to our audience before we will finish our today's meeting?
We were
Just
talking.
Probably.
Go on.
Okay. One thing which helps me a lot during the days, we were talking about managers, leaders. This is an important thing, but what helps me today is that I know several people to whom I can talk openly, like this safe environment to which we referred already several times. People who can help me to see bigger picture, and people who can listen. Try to find these people, ideally who are in your context, so that they can understand this vibe of service company and the level of pressure which we have here. It is not mandatory this is your manager. It is perfect if it is your manager, but if not, again, that's not a big problem. But try someone who can listen to you and help seeing this bigger picture and help you to try someone's other's shoes. This is important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Marta, any last thoughts from you?
I would say shortly, if we don't know what to say, we can just say it. I don't know what to say, but I am here for you. I want to listen to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have, this is the biggest resource that we have, right? And the most precious one, the time that we can share with other people.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. In that case, there is, as we are out of time for today's session, there is nothing left for me to say but to thank all of our experts today. Seeing the votes, it seems that the topic of the 9th episode of Let's Ask Experts will be adaptability. So we will be sure to make sure we find the right experts to cover that topic. For now, let me just say, Alona, Marina, Marta, it has been an absolute pleasure being the host of today's event, having this conversation with you. I hope our audience enjoyed that as well. There will be also a recording available for those who were unable to watch that. So once we share the recording, you can also promote us in the social media. It will be also available on YouTube. So in YouTube, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and press the bell notification not to miss any notifications from us. And should you have any questions, should you have any other topics that you would like us to cover in the future, or you would have any questions to our experts, by all means, I'm sure they might not be able to answer straight away, but as they mentioned, they will find time to answer your questions and to have a conversation with you. So for now, thank you so much. Please stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I do hope to speak to you again in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.